I'm going to say we're going to focus on what I've outlined here is focusing on an urban community. So say we've got a community somewhere downtown, Fells Point, Canton, a walkable community. And let's think about what somebody would do or what kind of information we could share that would be of interest to the person that we're trying to reach. Ideally, somebody living in that community is going to be looking for lifestyle. So when I say lifestyle, meaning that, they want to do the cool stuff. They want to walk to the coffee shops, right? They want to be in the grocery stores. They want to know the people in the coffee shop. So some of the things we could do, we can share photos. We can blog about these things. We can talk about how quickly it was that we walked to the grocery store, about how we go around the corner every morning to get our coffee. We can talk about the seafood market and the guys behind the counter that are so nice and have been in business for 15 years and they always tell us the best stuff to buy. Now, how are we going to share that information? We're going to use the blog to share that information. The community website has its own blog that we have access to. We're going to use Facebook and share all these photos and all these notes inside Facebook. We're going to use Foursquare and we're going to check in on all these locations. I saw some strange looks. Foursquare is rather new and pretty geeky. It'll be a little bit more mainstream soon. But we're going to check in all these locations and leave tips for the next people. We're going to grab our flip video camcorder, which is $150 on Amazon.com, and we're going to take HD video of the local restaurants and how quickly it was that we walked to these places. We're going to write reviews about the restaurants that we visit, and of course, all of them, how close that they are. And then we're going to take these reviews and we're going to share them inside Yelp.com, for those of you that may be familiar with that one. We're going to take then we're going to take our Yelp reviews and we're going to share them inside Facebook. And of course, we're obviously going to use Foursquare to check in at all the local nightlife, too. We're going to walk to the harbor. We're going to take photos of the harbor and talk about how close it is. We're going to take photos and videos of the street performers that are down there. We're going to visit the sporting events and we're going to tweet scores while we're at the sporting events. And we're going to use all these different tools. Facebook, WordPress is the blog platform, YouTube, Twitter. All of these tools are just really ways to share your message. Think about all of the scenarios, and I know I just rattled off a lot real quickly, but in none of them did I say 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, 2-car garage. I didn't say any of that, right? Because that's not what it's about. We're trying to connect on an emotional level, not a logical level. So when I think about examples of how to use social media, it would be bad for me to show you a bunch of ways for you to share and no ways for you to listen. So the whole idea of this, when we think about this back and forth transaction, is that the social web gives us the ability to hear back from our customers. That was the whole back and forth scenario at first. So, listening within social media, or not listening within social media, should I say, is like yelling into a room full of people and then shutting the door and then standing there and wait for them to come out and buy from you. It's not going to happen. We know that people want to hear from us, right? We know that they want to offer feedback. That's the whole, Windows 7 was my idea, right? And the people want to know that you're actually listening and paying attention to them. So what do we listen for? If we know we have the ability to listen, of course we're going to listen to any responses that people have made, any comments, any likes that people have done with any of the stuff that we've already shared. But in addition, who wouldn't want to know if their name appeared somewhere on the internet? If a customer blogged about their buying experience with you or your broker or your builder, or tweeted about it, I would think most people would want to know when their name shows up, right? So there are 2 groups of tools that we can do to listen for some things like this. There are a passive group of tools, and I have a handout that will detail more of these. But some of them will send you daily emails. Some of them will send you emails up to every 15 minutes and let you know if and when your name appears. And it could be your name, could be your broker's name, could be your community name. Lots of great tools to at least be aware if and when these conversations start happening online. Then there are active tools. And when I say active tools, I mean you're sitting in front of the computer and you're just watching the conversation go down your screen. Now, of course, we can listen for more generic things in these active tools, but the real power is that you know that in these tools, especially inside Twitter, we can do searches and we can say, show me every tweet that contains the word real estate in and around Baltimore right now. Probably be interesting to listen to that conversation, wouldn't it? You'd probably hear a lot of people trying to sell real estate, and I bet you a lot of those messages would be transactional in nature. But there will be conversations from consumers that are talking about the real estate market, potentially talking about moving and buying a home. So thinking back to the original statement, buying on emotion and justifying with logic. Comparing these 2 categories, logic, of course, being brick and mortar, emotion being heart and home, logic being education, emotion being inspiration. Problem is, as an industry, we've got this logic column down pat. I mean, we can spit out data like the Harlem Globetrotters of data, right? We got every different place you can think of. We've got all different fields, bedrooms, bathrooms, HOA dues, capital contributions. We can spit all this stuff out. But the problem is that consumers don't need us for data. They don't need us for logic. They can get that from any listing site they want. So if that's all we're providing to them, then that's all we are as a transaction facilitator. And they don't need a transaction facilitator. The internet is full of gate jumpers, which means we're really just taking all the middlemen out of these transactions. So transaction facilitator is a bad place to be. Let's look then at what's more important. Think back to the original example. What's more important? Would it be better for Max to just spell mommy, or would it have been better for him to spell beautiful? I would imagine that there are a few of you here that do business with people because you have a relationship with them. Not necessarily because they have the best product. Not necessarily because they have the best price, but you do business with them because you've known them forever, they know you, they take care of you, right? So they've got you on the emotional side, but not necessarily always the logical side. And I think the reverse is true. I'm sure there are people that you write checks to every month that you hate to. Utility companies come to mind. Perhaps television and cable internet providers come to mind personally. I'm not sure about you. But these are obviously still causes for business. So one of these two together, it's really a matter of putting them both together that makes them much more powerful. I'm not really sure. I don't think it's the point of whether or not one of them is more important is not exactly the case. But I think when we put these two together, I mean, one of them alone can drive a transaction, but when you put them together, you get something much, much more valuable. When you put them together, you get remarkable relationships. Thank you guys very much.